Right. Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is Kamruz Jaman. I'm from Conabos. We're a full-service digital agency based out of Canada and US. We specialize in Sitecore. Hopefully, you guys have seen us around from the community. I'm really excited to have Peter Katsopoulos join us today. I hope I didn't butcher the name. Peter,
Right. You got it.
I understand. I recognize. I know names. It's very phonetic. It's very phonetic. It's as it's written, but I always have trouble with those. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, of course. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
I'm extremely excited to have you present the roadmap for XMXP and Managed Cloud. I know we spoke extensively at Sitecore Symposium and at the MVP Summit. There's some really exciting things that are coming up in the roadmap. I know we discussed a lot of things under NDA, and then there's obviously been a lot of change in the industry over the past few years.
Yeah.
Obviously, the push towards headless and composable over the past few years. But to me, it almost feels like things are coming back around a little bit, where people have gone full headless and kind of realize that actually it's a little bit too far. And Sitecore's vision from a few years back is actually almost coming back on itself, where people are seeing the benefit of the all-in-one approach, the need for an editor, a visual editor, the need for inbuilt personalization, and obviously the need for ownership as well, data ownership. So I think the people are seeing the benefits of the all-in-one approach, the need for owning the platform, and the need for owning the infrastructure. So I was very happy to speak with you and get all the information around what the vision is for XMXP, the long-term vision as well, and the fact that there is so much investment from Sitecore on this.
Indeed. And, hopefully we'll touch on a lot of those points as we go through the roadmap, the slides of what we've presented in Nashville. So folks who are over at Symposium would have seen it. We've gone through these through a couple of city tours. We've done a couple of sort of partner sessions. I think the key message that we just want to deliver is, where we are in terms of our journey in Platform DXP, but also where Platform DXP sits in the cycle journey. Cycle's been on a massive journey towards a SaaS delivery model with XMC and the composable suite, and that's received a lot of the headline the publicity and the articles, but we've got a very loyal and comprehensive install base who are running Platform DXP. And our message really is quite simple, that we're fully committed to Platform DXP, fully committed to giving customers the choice to stay where they are, do nothing, do something, move to XMC, evaluate all options. And of course, if your option that you choose to elect into is say, hey, Platform DXP, single tenant is the model for me, what are we doing here at Sitecore to show you the runway? What are we doing to show you the features and the functions that we're bringing out? So, I've probably got about 30 minutes on of talking to get through. We'll talk through, some of the T's and C's that, it's a roadmap, and, maybe that's a good cue for me to click through. Yeah, but, it is a roadmap presentation. So we will talk about things which are under evaluation, under review. We take a very firm view on our roadmap before we present things like this, so we don't like to present this and then take things out. So hopefully as we go through, I'll show you evolution of this roadmap over the last sort of 6-7 months, show you how we're going. But just be mindful, some of the things are further afield. Some of the stuff that we have in here talks about 12 to 18 months ahead as well.
Perfect. With that, I'll let you go ahead and present all the info. Thanks.
All right, great. Thank you so much. So, the thing I like to do when I go through a roadmap session like this is really to set the scene as to where are we from an organizational perspective and a product perspective. Talk about our vision, our mission, and our commitment to Platform DXP. That kind of sets the scene so you know where we're at. We'll talk about roadmap considerations. What do we see going into the roadmap? Why do we think it's important to have those items in the roadmap? Where do they fit within the roadmap? We'll then get into a milestone view, a now, next, and later. So, in quarter, in year, and a year and beyond. We'll talk about some key initiatives. And then I've got some slides towards the end which should talk to recently shipped features as well. So I'll go through all of that, but before I get started, Peter Kapsopoulos, Senior Director of Product Management here at Sitecore. Been at Sitecore for 5.5, 6 years in April. Interesting fact here, I joined Sitecore April Fool's Day of 2019. That one always gives me a smile for some reason. But in that time, entirely focused on our experience platform. Had a couple of different roles within the organization. Came across as a product specialist focused on the little stint as Director of Solution Engineering. And more recently, in the last few years, came across into product management function, where I'm responsible for XMXP and our MC product. I've been in the tech industry 20 odd years, and in that time, primarily focused on platform delivery services that, not too dissimilar to these. So, let's talk a little bit about the vision, the mission, and the commitment. First slide, right off the bat, is a statement from our CEO, from Dave, just talking about Sitecore's commitment to XM and XP, our commitment to continually modernize on this platform. And it's important that we get this message out. We touched on it already. Sitecore's been through a massive journey. We've been through a rapid growth phase with our composable products, but that doesn't mean we haven't been doing the same, growing platform DXP behind the scenes. So as we go through the slides today, we'll show you what's come out, we'll show you what's available, but really just emphasizing the message from the top down here at Sitecore that we are fully committed to platform DXP, supporting customers with existing deployments, and also supporting those net new logos that we continue to onboard. From a product perspective, when myself and our teams get together, we look at it to say, what's our vision? What do we want to achieve? Simply, we want to be the #1 single tenant CMS, market choice, ability to orchestrate across our composable products. And when we talk about this, people often ask us, why specifically do we want to be the #1 single tenant market choice? And we talk to customers, we talk to a lot of customers, spend a lot of time doing this, and customers will say to us, look, there's certain things that resonate with us, and the ones we see on screen here are the ones that resonate with the majority of our customers. So people are talking to us about data sovereignty. We need our data to remain within certain borders. It cannot go across. It needs to be pinned to a specific region. It cannot be aggregated. These customers tend to be in highly regulated industries as well, so financial services, healthcare, certain manufacturing organizations. And they'll be saying to us, look, we need to be taking care of data. We need to be taking care of our policies and procedures. That normally means customers have got quite a specific networking requirement. It might mean that they've got a very high performance compute performance requirement as well, meaning we might have to be very reactive to burstable deployments, where maybe we need to be doing things proactively and preempting certain events. Generally, these requirements lend themselves better to what would usually in the industry be referred to as an on-premise deployment. Clearly an on-premise deployment can be hosted in cloud as a single tenancy. So exactly the same as what we do in our Sitecore with our managed cloud products. And then when we take all these things together and we say, so we've got highly complex data requirements, highly complex network performance, we're on-premise. Usually at this point, we're noticing that customers have heavily invested into this deployment architecture. And when we've heavily invested into this deployment architecture, usually then what we look to do is drive greater ROI out of an existing MVC. And that generally then means that a customer is better suited to the single tenant CMS platform that we look to be #1 in market for. So that's our vision. The mission to supplement that is simple. We're going to double down on Dave's statements here about constant innovation into our Sitecore XP platform, constant innovation into our managed cloud services so that customers can opt in to a hosting platform from Sitecore, continue to provide services that are secure, reliable, scalable, highly available, but ultimately to our customers to achieve digital goals with speed and precision. We talk about this and we talk to customers and we say, where are you on your journey? Where are you in your digital experience platform right now? What are you looking to do in the near future? And quite often we're asked, well, can you explain to us where you're going? The first thing we want to say is that Sitecore is fully committed to the platform. We have support on Platform DXP right now, 10.4 release, which takes us into 2032 and beyond. We will be shipping the 10.5 that'll be coming out in October of 25. That puts us into the back end of 2034. We've then got, the constant innovation on XM and XP from a feature set perspective. We'll be looking at that both from a dot release, but we'll also be looking at that from a modular release. And I'll talk a little bit about modules in a few minutes, but in essence, it's our ability to bring the feature out to market and for that feature to be consumed as a module and not tied to a dot release that would otherwise take 12 to 18 months for us to bring out to market. So kind of bringing some of the speed of the SaaS world, bringing some of that into our platform world, doing that through modules. And then the final commitment is just a commitment to customers to say we'll continue to provide alternative hosting solutions in the format of our Sitecore Managed Cloud products. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Managed Cloud today as well. We're relaunching our Managed Cloud service in April of 2025. I'm going to talk some of the reasons why we're going to go through that relaunch and what the benefits are that we'll see from that. So let's have a look at the roadmap considerations. First thing we'll notice is that our forward-facing slide in how we go out to support our customers in market changes a little. We move away from the heavily targeted product set with the hexagons where we had our XMCs and our CDPs and our personalized and our sends and our XMs and our XPs all on one slide. And we simplify that down and we look at our customers and say, where are you looking to Sitecore to bring you some support and some guidance? And in almost every instance, it's two key areas, and there's the third area, which is the buzzword of the moment. But content, our ability to give our customers the ability to manage your content lifecycle, ability to bring digital experiences so you can deliver those stand-up digital experiences to differentiate you in your brand, and then infusing that with AI through Sitecore Stream. And again, I have a slide which will talk to Stream in a few minutes. So this is a generic slide across Sitecore as an organization, and we'll use this to solve almost every instance that we'll be talking to customers behind content and experience, or of course a bunch of products here at Sitecore. And as we work through that discussion with you, we'll figure out which of those products work best. When we do get into that level of detail, we bring it down into the platform DXP space, and we start talking about single tenancy. The products that sit within our team right now are XM, XP. We do still have some customers running on XC and Managed Cloud, as we've mentioned. So 3 software products and a service. The core foundational product in XM with our identity service, content editor, experience editor, so publishing forms, SXA and the likes. Core foundational CMS products. Then for those customers looking to take a step forward into the digital experience space, we start to introduce things like XDB, XConnect tracking and analytics profile in our XP product. You've got marketing automation, personalization, campaign managers, content testing, and a few others in the XP. So XM and XP really the core software capability in our platform, the XP portfolio. We do still have a number of customers running on XC. XC was discontinued at the 10.3 range. We're at 10.4 now on XM and XP, but we will continue to support third-party dependencies for customers on XC. And then when we talk about Managed Cloud, we look at it from a service perspective, really there to service customers who've opted in for one of the software products. Customers today have 3 choices in terms of platform hosting. We have what we call our PaaS 1.0 architecture, which was the initial release of our Managed Cloud product portfolio, a fairly simplified PaaS-based delivery model. In August of 23, we released PaaS 2.0, a complete rework of the underlying architecture, moved to a hub and spoke architecture following Microsoft's Well Architected framework. PaaS 2.0 is where we will invest majority of our time in Managed Cloud for feature and innovation. And we do still have customers who are running on containers as an AKS delivery model. But as I say, the primary go-to for us from a Managed Cloud perspective is going to be around PaaS 2.0. And when I talk a little bit later to some of the key initiatives, we'll talk about what does it mean to deliver on a PaaS 2.0 versus 1.0. What are some of the benefits that we're seeing on that side? So let's talk about the roadmap and the status update. The first thing we want to say is that we want to show previously communicated roadmaps. We want to show what we presented X months ago. We want to show you how we've tracked and moved on that roadmap, show you things that might have moved out, show you things that have moved in, and show you where we are with the items that were there. So what I'm going to show on the next slide is what we presented in Dublin earlier this year in May of 24. The roadmap was split into three key themes: our core XM and XP capability. We broke it down into some components which are better targeted to site delivery, so around headless deployment and public cloud deployment. And we spoke about integrations and how we can integrate into our composable stack. So I won't go through every item on the screen right here, but what I will say is that the items that I've got the two dots, the purple dots, those are the modules that I was referencing a few minutes ago. Modules available across a number of Sitecore versions do not require you to go through an upgrade. So those customers who've got that heavily tuned, highly tuned, heavily customized deployment, but you want to get access to a feature, but you don't want to have to go through a wholesale upgrade. Modules work very well in that scenario. Naturally, modules tend to lend themselves better to the site delivery and integration, where we still see in the core XM and XP capability, they tend to be more along the lines of breaking changes and things that need to go into a dot release. So what I'll show is I think it's screen 7-8 modules across the themes here. It's been 5 months. It's actually been 6, but it was 5 months when we put this deck together. And what we want to show here is just how that roadmap has evolved in 6 months. First thing I'll say is we've taken nothing out of the roadmap. So everything that was in the roadmap back in May remains in the roadmap. We have introduced 2 items to the roadmap, and both of those have actually been delivered. So the first one that we introduced is our codeless schema extension. That's codeless schema extension, ability for our content editors and authors to manipulate XDB facets. That used to be a task that required developer assistance. That can now be done through the Sitecore interface. So if you need to manipulate those XDB facets, you now have the ability to do that through the Sitecore portal, and you can do that without the need to go to a developer. That's shipped, and that's actually immediately available in market today. We also shipped our XDB to CDP migration tool. Again, shipped as a module available in market today, and that helps to bring adoption to CDP for customers who are looking to bring over some of that XDB configuration and data. And then we've got our Sitecore Stream, which is our AI capability. We have that available in a preview state today. It's available with our brand assistants and generative co-pilots. I'll talk about that in more detail when I get to the key initiatives section. Again, that's shipped and that's out and it's available. We also have our Microsoft Fabric Data Lake and Analytics Support module. So that's a module that can help you with extracting data out of your XDB, being able to import that and manipulate that through tools like Power BI, and really giving you a chance to maybe clean up and optimize some of the back-end XDB data sets, which can grow over time. So some performance optimization, but also ability to get some insights elsewhere on the data. Again, that is shipped and available. And then the final one we'll talk about here is the XM Cloud Content and Asset Synchronization tool, or XM to XMC tool. That's shipped and is available in market and is there to support customers who are looking to increase and bring velocity to their XMC migrations if they're moving from XM. And then we actually introduced an entirely new theme into the roadmap, which was around our Sitecore Managed Cloud. So today, Sitecore Managed Cloud is available in 2 forms. We have Managed Cloud Standard and Managed Cloud Premium. And if you think about the difference between the two, Managed Cloud Standard is the entry-level Managed Cloud service, which allows customers and partners to build on top of it. Managed Cloud Premium would be all the way on the other side of the spectrum, where it is a fully managed solution, named engineers, and really Sitecore assumes responsibility for everything in Managed Cloud Premium. what customers are saying to us is we'd really like there to be more in Managed Cloud Standard, and we'd like a way to walk ourselves forward into an MCP type deployment model. But we'd like to opt in for services as we go, as opposed to starting all the way over with everything included. So that's exactly what we'll do. Is we'll relaunch Managed Cloud, bring out a unified Managed Cloud product set, increase the baseline, and bring the starting point forward. And we'll do that through end-to-end platform hosted services. So we'll take responsibility for the entire Azure stack. We'll look to introduce proactive assistance and security operations in terms of the platform system SecOps. We'll then look a little further afield, probably a little later down the line, maybe some 12 months down. Look at web operation support with CI/CD capabilities, some optimization, pipeline management. And the final thing that we're looking to do is really enhance on our disaster recovery capabilities to give customers the ability to do what we'd call customer-initiated disaster recovery testing. And then along with that would be things like disaster recovery validation tooling and a few other capabilities to bring some belts and braces before we do a migration. So in terms of evolution on the roadmap, from May until this was middle of October when we presented it, 5 modules brought out to market, nothing taken out of the roadmap, and an entirely new theme added for Sitecore Managed Cloud. What I'll show next is a milestone view of the roadmap. So I have a slide here which talks about XM and XP milestones. The first thing I'll say is that when we break it down into milestones, we talk about now, next, and later. Now would be what we're working on in quarter. Next will be what we're working on for the 3 quarters that follow, and later would be that 12 months and beyond. So now, next, and later is some terminology we use internally. Key thing to note on this slide for our experience platform, XM and XP, we have our core releases, so our dot releases, 10.2.2 and 10.3.2. They've actually shipped. They're available in market right now. We'd expect to see another 4 releases over the next 9 months. 10.1.4, 10.2.3, 10.3.3, 10.4.1, and then the bigger one, we'll look at 10.5, which will be in October of 25. So that's our release schedule for the dot releases for XM and XP. We have an entire theme here around Sitecore Stream. Real interest in this and lots of momentum with Sitecore Stream right now. A real differentiator for us in our brand and content creation, our brand co-pilots, our generative co-pilots, but really the brand assistance where we're allowing you to import and ingest your brand guidelines, your colors, your themes, your target audience, your sentiments, your tones, all of the guidelines that you would give to your agencies or your internal teams. But consider these things when publishing content. We'll ingest this into Sitecore Stream, and then Sitecore Stream will use that knowledge then to allow you to orchestrate across your digital experience. So a real differentiator, not just a chatbot that you could otherwise go into ChatGPT or other and just prompts in and get feedback. Could still be valuable, but this is really bringing you brand awareness. So if you've got a brand, you've got a complex brand, have a look on the Sitecore website. We've got some good case studies from some really big brands on there that are using it. I would imagine that this section will see some evolution on the timeline, positive evolution. I'd imagine we'll start to see some of these items being brought forward, looking for that early access and general availability within sort of the next 2 to 3 months. We'll continue to focus on modules. So we spoke about 5 modules that came out between May and the November timeline. Have a number of other modules in the platform today. The second iteration of the XM to XC migration tooling that is actually available. That's actually already shipped. We've got our Connect endpoints for marketing automation. Working on it right now. Looking at a Connect endpoint for forms, which will come in the few months that follow. Codeless schema extensions. We'll be releasing a V2 of that tool. Edge publishing improvements, something we will flow down to us from our XMC colleagues, and then a little further afield, we'll start to look at things like MVC to headless migration tooling, and then we'll start to look at how can we integrate search, Sitecore Search, into Platform DXP, not just from a site search capability, but from an internal capability too. And then we've got our portal integration for Platform DXP. So portal integration would be, inviting you in, authenticating you through Sitecore portal, and having your XM and XP instance available through that portal. Then we have what I would call the boring bits, but arguably some of the most important bits as well, which is our third-party compatibility updates, a number of third-party compatibility items we need to be mindful of. We are a heavy consumer of Microsoft services. As those services run through their life cycle, we need to keep them up to date. And so we've got some .NET Core components, we've got our App Insights components, we've got our modules that consume these, identity, publishing services, universal tracker. And then we do still have, as I mentioned earlier, some of those customers on XC. Some of those products also are consuming .NET Core 6, which are being upgraded to .NET Core 8. A heavy consumer of Solar today. And we'll also then be looking at how can we bring support for the latest versions of Solar. I then have a slide which looks exactly the same, but for Managed Cloud, different info, but same format. Same milestones, now, next, and later. Same release cycle for the Experience platform. What I'll focus on is really the SMC platform updates. A lot of work going into disaster recovery validation, the disaster recovery validation tool that we've created, which is not only looking at the synchronicity of data, so from my app service backup, SQL replication, but also looking at the consistency of the site from both sides. So looking at, app gateway settings, front door settings, other configuration settings on the platform that you might be making at source. And then through replication, of course, we're capturing data, we're capturing the consistency of web routes. But if you're making a configuration change and that configuration change isn't captured, it can sometimes be easy to forget to apply that on a DR side. So we have a disaster recovery tool now, which will be analyzing both sides. It will give us a confidence score, so we'll run it daily, look at both sides of your environment, gives us a proactive means to say, hey, look, we've found a setting on one side, but not on the other. Do we need it consistent? Why is there a difference? And ultimately, what that'll drive us to is a more consistent and reliable failover process and minimize the number of steps we need to follow in the event of disaster once we've failed over. So the V1 of the tool is actually out already. We're busy working on the V2. We're working on a number of security enhancements around the Azure Bastion service, third-party images for our containerized deployments, runbooks for things like the JSS deployments. We're seeing a big uptick in SXA and JSS deployment models, which is great because that gets us also a little closer to what we see over in XMC. Customer-initiated failover testing, web operations and assistance, fully fledged JSS provisioning templates. And then a core theme for us in Managed Cloud is to target specific regions like UAE Central, like Qatar, as tactical regions become available. Some of those customers are saying to us, we've got very strict and stringent data sovereignty requirements. We'll then be able to place data specifically there, not aggregate out. And then we're also working through a Core 42 initiative right now, which we are already certified onto, which means that we can do fully fledged deployments in the UAE following the Core 42 framework. So a lot of work going in here on the security side. To complement that, we continue to work against our privacy and compliance program. So ISO 27001, 17, 18, CSA Star, SOC 2, and more recently our PCI attestation of compliance as well. So quite a packed roadmap from the Managed Cloud side. As I say, we are relaunching that Managed Cloud product. We have something ready to go early April. And then what I'll do is I'm going to just talk through some key initiatives. So we've touched on these already. Our generative AI, intelligent DXP. We spent a lot of time in Nashville at Symposium talking about what is an intelligent DXP and how does it become intelligent. And really, Sitecore Stream is a key part of that. We've touched on it with the brand assistance and the content generation. It will embed into your XM and XP solution. It'll be available as a module, so you can take this module and install it. We'll give you the access rights into platform. There is a license that will be supplemented with it. It's available as a module. It'll be available from 10.1 and later. and that's available to all customers on Platform DXP today. So if folks are interested in knowing more, and there is a lot more, I recommend sort of dedicated sessions to go through and see how it can help you. Codeless schema extensions, version 2. So we spoke about the ability for marketers to make changes to XDB schema without needing to go to our developers. So we'll extend on that. So this has been a widely adopted feature that we've released. Lots of asks for us to extend this to not just be limited to the number of facets that we have, but also to map form fields, form name, to contact facets, integrate with iProfile. So something that the team are actively working on now will be available as a module, and it'll be available on 10.2 and later. We've then got the experience platform, so version 10.5. A lot of work going in behind the scenes to this right now. Targeting, as I said, October 2025 as a release date. Tightly coupled integration with Sitecore Stream. We'll be looking to bring support for Server 25, introducing support for Solar 9, Solar 10, and then a constant theme for us in every Platform DXP upgrade or release that we go through is improved upgrades, simplified upgrades, and improved cold start times. And then the next initiative that we'll talk about is the managed cloud. So I already said that we're looking to release this new platform early April. We will build on top of the success that we gathered from August 23 when we released PaaS 2.0. What you see on screen here is a comparison between a PaaS 2.0 architecture and a PaaS 1.0 architecture. So it's run against 10.3 and 10.4. So a fully loaded XP instance. 41% reduction in page response times when comparing the two. 63% increased request capacity on the infrastructure. That is in larger credit to Microsoft and some of the improvements they're making in their V3 architecture. And then a massive 284% throughput improvements, requests per second throughput. When we compare all of this against PaaS 1.0, it's a significant leap forward. We brought this out to market in August 23. We have a number of customers successfully running on this. We realized that we now have a very stable and fast platform. And the next thing for us to then focus our attention on is how do we then improve the service wrap and the operational layer to go with it. So we've got those 4 themes which we showed in the roadmap: the end-to-end platform services, security operations, web operations, and enhanced disaster recovery. And then a number of items that will come with that, which will be available as add-on options. You might choose to have a proactive log management, but you might not have the operations center. You might look to have advanced monitoring, but maybe not disaster recovery. But really allowing customers the choice to opt in as we go. And then I will wrap up here with a quick fire round, just showing you what we have as recently shipped items. I'll go quite quick on these. 10.3.2 shipped, available in market right now. A number of features, number of improvements, and a number of customer resolved issues. The full release notes available on our Sitecore.com website. 10.2.2 exactly the same. A number of features and improvements, customer resolved issues, again shipped with release notes available on our website. Codeless schema extension v1.0, as I mentioned, shipped, available as a module, available 10.3 and later. We've got our XM to XMC migration tooling v1, shipped, available as a module, available from 10.1 and later. We've actually recently just shipped the v2 of this tool as well, which just extends on the capability. XDB to CDP migration tool, again shipped, module, and that's available from version 9 and later. We've got our XConnect endpoint for Sitecore Connect, again shipped, endpoint v9x and later. And then the final one here is our XDB to analytics extractor, which again is a module, allows you to gain access to your XDB data to tools like Power BI. Again, a module, and 10.1 and later. So just to conclude, a lot going on in Platform DXP. The teams are incredibly busy, both with the work that we're looking at here today in terms of this roadmap, but also looking at what do we do beyond 10.5? What does the next version after 10.5 look like? How are we addressing some of the bigger third-party compatibility updates in that? What are we doing around the content editor experience? What are we doing around modules? How are we bringing all that out to market as a combination of dot releases and modules? The roadmap that we create is wholly dependent on feedback. We want the roadmap to be valuable. We want the roadmap to resonate. Very big thing for us in our team. We want to make sure that we're getting feedback from customers, prospective customers, like what's working well, what isn't. So your feedback is very valuable to us, and we really do. Thank you for those who do share your feedback with us. I'll put my contact details here. Please, if you have anything that you want to ask, let me know. I'm always going to be available to help answer questions. I might not have all the answers, but certainly will know where to find the answers if I don't. So with that, I just want to say, Cam, thank you for having me here. Thank you for having me part of the presentation, and hopefully that was helpful and informative. And if there's any questions, by all means, happily try to take some of those.
Thank you, Peter. That's very, very comprehensive. I know I spoke to you after the presentation. I really loved all the information that you presented. I loved the roadmap. I love seeing what was upcoming from Sitecore back in Europe, what's been delivered, and again, what the roadmap looks like for the next 12 to 18 months. And obviously, it's ever evolving, but it's good to see some public clarity on this. And the fact that there is support for the platform until 2032, which is way ahead, feels like a million years ahead. But I think that's going to give a lot of people a lot of confidence and a lot of clarity going forward that they can keep developing with the platform. There is good life in the platform, and there's still a lot of innovation from the platform.
Yeah, I think on that, it's one of those things where we probably wouldn't put a slide up that even had that kind of dates and times against it. I just think what we see in market is, there's been so much focus on XMC that that focus has almost just drawn the attention away. We kind of just have to say, hey, look, this thing is there. It's got a full life cycle behind it. We speak about 2032. That'll go to 34. Then we'll do let's call it 11. That'll go, I don't know, 36, 38. So a real big commitment on the platform on our side. And I think if you look at market trends and you see where is the market going, yes, there's going to be a big adoption of SaaS, no doubt. I think there's going to be a big market segment, but I still think there's going to be a big segment there who are either not ready, don't want to, or just can't go. And it's important that we have options for folks. So, we want to be one of those options. We're going to be one of them. We want to be the best one.
Absolutely. And then I think with the focus on XM Cloud, everybody just thinks XM Cloud headless. But I think people tend to forget that actually you can be headless with XM and XP on-prem. That was the original Sitecore headless, right? With the JSS. Yeah. And that's still fully supported. It's still a really, really great option. You have the option to use Experience Edge. That's still something that we can use and take advantage of to have these global deployments, especially when you still need that data residency and you have those requirements, for example. And that product is still supported. It's still being developed, and along with all the other great innovations like the codeless schema that you mentioned. I think that kind of makes the using XDB personalization much more easy. We do have a couple of questions that did come up. I know you said you're happy to take feedback. And so Harsh has asked, is there a user voice site where developers and marketers can submit feature requests for Sitecore products? I don't know if you remember, but a few years back there was a official and unofficial user voice site that people were going on and making feature requests and upvotes and things like that. That seems to have disappeared, and I don't think there's really any public way of doing feature requests. I know you guys are very active on Slack, and do keep an eye on anyone there.
I would say a lot of the feature requests coming through to us through our PSS teams. So what we tend to see is folks getting in touch, asking, how can I do this? How can I do that? PSS will then obviously field that, say, hey, he has the method or he has the way. And if it isn't, then what they would do is they'd log a feature request back in through to us. I don't think there is a formal portal that gives you the ability to do that. Happy for you to send them to that email on the screen if you have them. We'd love to hear that feedback, but I don't think there's a formal site where we can actually take that in.
Okay. I think this one you probably have been asked this a number of times. Is there going to be a new version of Horizon
There might be. Yeah, look, that is a massive topic for us. And if I could wind the clock back to 10.2 and say, what could we change and not have done, it would have been, hey, let's not have stopped working on that. I think a lot of emphasis got put into pages, into XMC. We are seeing massive demand and request for it. So I would say that is a definite watch area. I don't want to give too much away, but let's just say that when we talk about what goes into 10.5 and beyond, that's top of the list.
Yeah, and as I mentioned at the beginning of the session, I think we're almost seeing the market come back on itself. So whereas 3 years ago, it was Sitecore is not a pure headless CMS, both with the on-prem headless that it had, as well as XMC, XM Cloud, because they had the visual editing. And all the headless players were like, it's not a pure headless CMS because it's got a visual editor built in and da-da-da-da-da-da, right? And now we're seeing with pretty much every single one of these other headless vendors that they're all bringing visual editing back in. They're all bringing or acquiring personalization companies because people want that single interface. People want to have the visual editors. People want to have personalization with a single workflow, with a single tool and a single workflow, right? So I think I can imagine that the need for a modern page editor is also, come back into that fold, right?
Correct, and the conversations, I wouldn't say they blur, but they join. You start to talk about a migration away from a framework to a .NET Core. You think about the work that has to go into that. Think about the work that goes into content editors. How do we kind of go about those things in a unified way? So I think what you'll see is a natural, as we migrate one, the other one comes with it. And that's really when we start to talk about what happens beyond 10.5 and how do we sequence that. If there was an item on the list outside of Stream that we would want to put forward, it would be something like this.
Yeah. For the moment, looks like the final question, but I know there was a slide that you mentioned for XE, Experience Commerce, that is going to get support for .NET Core 8. Yep. So at least it looks like there is.
Yeah, we continue to support it.
Maybe 18 months ago, there was mention of it being sunset.
Yeah, we will continue to. We're actually in the process of releasing updates for the commerce modules on the 10.3 range right now to get them up to .NET Core 8. We won't be releasing a new version of it, so there won't be a 10.4 or a 10.5. That's been favored by Order Cloud. But what we do see is we still see a number of customers on the platform, and they'll continue to get the support. So just the same way we show support lifecycle for other products, we have a support lifecycle for XC. But we've been very vocal in where we were going to stop. We've been saying for years that XC will stop at the 10.3 range, but the support behind the scene remains there for the team. Yeah.
Great, love it. I think that's it for our questions for today. Thank you, Peter. Thank you. Hopefully you can be back in 6 months, and we'll see where we've moved on the roadmap and what new things get added onto the roadmap. Really looking forward to the 10.5 release, and then especially in the MVP circles, I know we're going to have a lot of more conversations on that. So really looking forward to what's going to be added into the platform for 11 and beyond.
No pressure.
Thank you, Peter. We appreciate your time and appreciate all the insights.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
That's it. Perfect.
All right. Thank you, sir. How are we doing for time? Yeah. All right. We're good. Good.
Yeah, I think we're good. Let me just end this.